I think men finally declaring they're not providers and protectors is such a like massive moment of healing for all of us, especially for them. To me, I think of this the same way that women have discovered that like we're not just beauty ideals for everyone. This is men saying like, hey, this is a role that we never asked for and didn't want, but we've been cast in and we're not going to do it. And when I first had this thought, it made me kind of sad because I was like, well, what about all the men who are saying they're not going to protect women and, you know, it might make it happen less and less? They weren't doing it anyway. So nothing, there's no change. Like a science experiment, no change. This is something they weren't doing. We were just pretending that they were going to do it. It's like, you know, you spend your life trying to be a singer and someone finally comes to you and says, babe, you're not a good singer. Just please stop, find something else to do. I think that's great for women. It also explains why everything was so fraught between men and women for so long, because we had these people like pretending to be in a role that they were not in and us expecting something from them that they were not capable of doing, which is a point of like patriarchy and like white supremacy. White supremacy always asks you to like sacrifice yourself, which most people are not willing to do. Right? Self-preservation, and that's a wise thing. And if someone has such a perceived like powerful role, it's wise that they relinquish it if they're not going to fulfill it. It's not good for any of us to believe that something's happening that's not going on. And I feel like now we can finally put this narrative to rest. It's like finally we can get rid of an idea that doesn't serve us. And I don't mean like a hippy dippy way. I mean that idea was actually doing us all a disservice, like all of us, men and women. Also, let's be real. I feel like in the past couple hundred years, like the patriarchy has also taught women that like they didn't figure out how to band together and like stab men in the stomach who are trying to assault them as a group. So, and there's tons of matriarchal societies we're learning about now. I feel like this is just a weird Western ideology that we all, you know, took the pill and swallowed it, and it just made us all sick. Also, too, I want to address women. Like, I despise men more than most people, honestly. But what's the gig with you guys, like, not wanting to see, like, real men, quote unquote, anywhere? You don't want to see them at a concert. You don't want to see them drinking a Starbucks drink. Where would you like them to be protecting you? Like, they're only going to be at home if they're not allowed to do anything. We're also having all these, like, gender conversations. We're, like, shirking our fake responsibilities, but we're not letting them do the same thing. Like, why aren't they wearing skirts yet? That's what I really want to know. Because they all probably calmed down if they did. Their exposed nethers weren't all like crunched up inside of weird pants they're wearing. And two, like, why aren't we just letting people exist as the human beings they are? Like, no woman is inherently like this, like the divine feminine and all these other things. Like, they're just so embarrassing because they're just not real, and it's annoying to hear about it. Even the Roman Empire conversation, we have a bunch of fools thinking about a failed empire right now. Is that what men have? Also, is anyone going to call it that Netflix is either coming out with a Roman show or now they're going to make one because they have all this intel they've gathered? But I'm going to say it's the former. That this is like some kind of weird psyop marketing thing where you're going to get all these like Roman shows. I would say mark my words on that. Yeah, anyway, good riddance to that narrative. I find there's nothing worse like when you're trying to be alive as in living in a lie. Because you keep trying and trying and trying, but then you realize like, oh wait, something's not right here. And that was what it was. I mean, it's kind of proven by our society. No one wants to be the provider and protector. Very few people can take that role on, especially both of them together, not just one or the other. No, that's not even fair. Like, you provide, I'll protect. Nah, I'm not doing everything. I mean, mothers do that every day. I don't expect that from people who don't bear life into the world. I also don't expect them to be completely devoid of humanity. I just expect on an individual basis, like, things are going to be different. I think we should all just start like hustling to that area and stop trying to hold each other to these nonsense principles that, like, you know, old, creepy, pale, narcissistic, sociopathic people taught us, because it was part of the maintenance, again, of our oppression to believe this. Now men can go off and like, I don't know what, take part in all the hobbies they enjoy. I remember when everyone was like, men have no hobbies. Men's hobby is like stifling their feelings. That's their favorite hobby. That's just my experience. Now maybe they can pick up another hobby.
Everything men have always had to do, we still have to do. You use the example that if you man are cooking and cleaning and doing what you do before the woman, then why should that change when I arrive? Well, we're saying the same thing, because if we're meeting you in your state of being a grown person and you're cooking, cleaning, doing your laundry, paying your own bills, why now when I arrive, you all of a sudden get amnesia like you don't know what Edison is or Spectrum or all of these things? Same conversation. And that's the challenge, is that it is worth a conversation. That current day we need to figure out moving forward, because we're not going back. There's no regression. How are men and women going to facilitate relationships that are more equitable to both parties? That's what is occurring. And it seems like we can't seem to find middle ground, because I believe the men on this panel, men that listen, we ain't got no problem being man. We do the man stuff, whether it's the gutters or the protection, paying the bills, we ain't got no problem. But the challenge is that we still are doing what we've always done. We see you across the room, you fine. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Because current day, as women are saying, things have changed. That's BS. I don't know no women that approach men. I don't know no women that approach men in mass and take them out on dates. Men can barely get celebrated for their birthdays or anything like that. So some of what you're saying, I hear you, but women are still very much like, no, we want to be pursued, we want to be celebrated, we want to experience what it is to be a woman. And I don't think that there's nothing wrong with that. So I think it is worth the conversation.
Now, let me be very, very clear. For me personally, I love cooking for whoever my man is. It's something that I am drawn to do. It's something that I don't know what it is. I just have to. I have to make sure that he's fed. I have to make sure that you good. You need something to eat. You want me to, I cook something for you. Sunday come, I'm cooking Sunday dinner. You coming? It's a thing for me. It might not be a thing for all women, but
Are you buying groceries though? And
yeah.
cooking? Yeah, just asking.
Yeah. So mostly, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like it's literally an itch that I have. All women are not like that. So some women might need another dynamic. Some women don't cook. Some men cook. What's wrong with the man cooking for the woman? Something like you can switch something, but for me, that right there is I'm very traditional in that way. However, during the week, if I can't, I need you to be able to. You know what I'm saying? Like if I come home and I'm really tired, why don't you pick it up? Why don't you call something in and order it, or just cook something? Have dinner ready for me sometimes. That's what I'm saying. Like you have to relieve pressure on your partner is all I'm saying.
I totally agree. I'll say this and I'll pass the mic. Does that same rule apply if 1 month I don't want to pay the rent or the mortgage? Because you've seen me do it for the
You
last.
don't want to, or you can't.
No. But your verbiage is beautiful. It's perfect. I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you just said, it doesn't mean that you're not capable of getting off work and facilitating a meal. It's that it's not feasible because of maybe your energy level. It's not convenient. Cool. So am I afforded the same right? If I've been paying the rent for 2 years, do I get months off? Can I pass that?
Okay. Yes. Only because like if in fact, like if I come home and I'm tired, like I'm exhausted, there's no way I'm finna get up and cook, and I'm not. Like that would be something that I would just come home and fix a girl dinner. I don't know what's in there. Just pick some up and just eat it and pass out. And so if in fact you are in a spot where you can't, or it's not convenient to, and you need me to pick it up, absolutely, because that's why I'm here. That's why we're with each other.
So do we feel like men are that oh, go ahead, Ty.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, Trev. I was just gonna say, I just feel like realistically, most people do everything in relationships. They split the bills, they split the cooking, they split the cleaning, they split everything. It's not one person doing mostly everything. That's why in the beginning it was like our traditional roles dead. I feel like right in our loins we want to do these traditional things, but we're just not doing them all the time. Just like you stated, before you got in a relationship, True, a man had to do all of these things. Before the woman got in a relationship, she had to do all of these things, and once they come together, they still are doing all of these things. You're not paying rent realistically for 2 years and then saying you don't want to anymore. You're splitting rent. You split the bills. You split the groceries. Maybe I buy all the groceries and I cook this time, and then you buy all the groceries and you cook this time. That's the reality of the society we live in today. It's not that men are making all this money or women are making all this money and it's just one person leading the charge. No, we literally, to survive, need both of our incomes to do everything. And to live happily and peacefully, I feel, in a relationship, there has to be both of us coming to the table and doing most things together. I don't know.
I have another question. Go ahead, Trev.
I was going to say, I still stand on the fact that it's mostly men who are supporting the relationship monetarily. I mean, y'all can look it up. Y'all don't have to believe me. Pew Research got it. But even so, I don't think that most men are so unreasonable that they're going to get home from work first and then just look you in the face like, so, like, that's not real life. Most men aren't that unreasonable. If that's what you keep running into, yeah, you might want to check your vetting, because that's not how most men behave. Most men are reasonable. Like, we understand if a woman is tired, and guess what? Most men are very comfortable with taking the brunt of the responsibilities. Most men take pride in having their wife live the soft life. And if most of us could do it, we would, right? Some of us aren't in a position financially. We get that. But those men share responsibilities, particularly black men. If you look that up, you'll see that we are the most willing to acquiesce to women's needs, mostly more than anybody else, as far as splitting chores and all that. If these are the types of men that you're running into, we're going to have to look into your vetting process.
I agree with you, Trev, that black men are the ones that mostly do it. And I think it's because black relationships are the ones where it's not being led financially by the man. And I'm not saying that's why you guys do it. I'm just saying you're more likely to acquiesce to that because we both realize we both have to put in the effort in order to live comfortably in this lifestyle. You keep going back to this statistic where men make more and provide more. In real life, I don't see that in black relationships. What I see is 50-50. What I see is both people have to work a job, pay the bills together. They're talking through the bills together. They have to split everything together because no one can survive on just one person's income.